Hello, Games Done Quick. My name is Turtle, and this is Ori and the Will of the Wisps, a Metroidvania developed by Moon Studios in 2022 with some of the most beautiful graphics you've ever seen, audio you've ever seen, and movement tech in, like, any game ever, basically. I love the Ori series, and this game is phenomenal. I'll be playing the main quest order category, which I'll get into describing once we're actually in the run. For now, let's just kick things off. 3, 2, 1, go. So, normally this game starts with a long prologue of about 10 minutes. No, it doesn't. Bye. Yeah, so thank God we can skip the prologue. It is very long. So we're just going to get right into the tutorial. There's still some more sections to explain how to play the game, or show how to play the game, as well as what's different from Blind Forest, the first game. And so, one of the things, at least in the speedrun sense that's different, is that instead of running on RTA, we typically time the game via Oh, I didn't get the bounce. Sad. Oh, I got it! Yes! Cool glitch. It's off to a great start. I love this game. But yeah, we run using an... No, I have to describe this later. There's too much to talk about at the start of the game. So, one of the first differences between Blind Forest and Will of the Wisps is weapons. Whereas in Blind Forest you only had Sign, in this game we get Torch. Torch, what the? Okay, I don't know why I just didn't want to destroy that wall there, but yeah, Torch. As you can see, we use it to hit things really quickly. And we can also use it, if you saw I did it once there, when we up slash, it gives us just a little bit of a hover. And that is immediately going to be used for a trick. Torch hover, all the way over to wall jump up here. So that skips us having to go down, do a combat arena down below, and lets us get over here. So now, oh, I got that first try. Beautiful. So, we have the torch, you can't grab onto the blue moss. So instead, I die like an idiot. Instead, we have to do some alternate strats, like a really tight wall jump, and a little bit of a knockback reduction in order to keep hold of torch. Whereas normally, if you, after the combat arena, there's a waterfall that's supposed to put the torch out. But, whoop, grab. Yeah, we want to keep the torch because hovering is really nice. And also, you know, beating things up with the torch is cool. Even though we don't really beat things up with a torch, we just beat up a bunch of wooden planks in the way. Why would you set them on fire when you can just punch them really hard? And with that, we have now completed our first main quest in main quest order. Hi, go away. It's got still 1 health left. Unfortunately, keeping the torch is a little bit of a problem. If you have the torch at the end of one of the next couple of cutscenes, the game soft locks. Luckily, there's a convenient pool of water here that I can just jump into a little bit, drop my torch, and then head on to the first escape sequence and boss battle of this game. So this is another difference that Will of the Wisps brings from Blind Forest. These bosses, like Howl here, our good boy, who's going to us, well, basically an auto-scroller of our first escape sequence. Oh, okay, we hit me, but dealt no damage. Okay, and I immediately messed up one of the jumps. But as you can see, yeah, no problem there. But we grab our torch back, we don't soft block by grabbing 2, and that means it's time to hit him in the head and boop him in the snoot 12 times. There we go. And that is the Howl fight done. Which is basically the end of the tutorial of this game. So, let me quick mention what I've been doing. You've seen a lot of times I've exited the game, quit to menu, and then re-entered. That's called a quit to menu, or QTM. And that's tech that's used all over the place, because this game typically is run with load times removed. So quitting to menu doesn't waste all that much time, because a lot of the time that you're looking at the screen, it's loading, which is removed by the timer automatically. So yeah, that's very fast. And by doing a QTM like that, I need to equip... we can use the game's saved states in order to skip small cutscenes and animations all over the place. Very handy. But for now, we have our first actual upgrade and weapon of the game, which is sword. Sword is used, not for combat. It's used to hover. As you can see, I did there a couple of times. When you up slash with a sword, you hover in the air for just a little bit and even gain a tiny amount of height. Unlike Torch, which can hover infinitely, sword can only hover one time for every time you touch the ground. So if I use it, I have to touch the ground again in order to gain my sword hover back. So it's not as useful, unfortunately, but we have routed it in a couple of places to just speed things along. There's a really tight one here that I always miss, but that's fine. There's a really easy backup. But for example, there's a combat arena up above, so we just sword hover to get down here instead. We can also do things like pogo off of enemies, like you saw right there, to just gain a little bit of extra height when there is an enemy below us. And with that, we're already at our second tree of the run, which is double jump, one of my favorite skills in the entire Ori series. Despite how normal it is, it has so many utilities, especially in the randomizer. Like being able to stall yourself in the air, gain a little bit more height, it's all so nice to have. And absolutely required for this run. So yeah, we'll be grabbing double jump, heading back out, once again utilizing sword hovers to gain just a little bit more height and float in the air so we can make it out quicker. You also saw that I went and grabbed the first shard of this game. Shards are equipable abilities, similar to a mechanic from Hollow Knight, if you played that game, which a lot of people have because it's a good game. But Sticky allows us to stick to walls without needing to constantly wall jump up them, like this. And that will make the next upcoming trick, which I'm about to get into, way, way easier, because this is one of the hardest tricks of the entire game. And by far the hardest trick of this run, in my opinion. It's door skip. Oh, and I immediately take a little bit of extra damage. That shouldn't matter, but normally we're supposed to go down through this keystone door here, but we're not going to do that. So we only have one of the keystones, which we'll actually be saving for later. And instead, we're going to lure this squonky out through some specific movement in the air and get it first try. Oh, hell yeah, that's a first try door skip. So with some very precise movement and manipulation of that enemy, we can actually get onto a tiny, tiny little ledge. And with that, we are now up and working our way out of Howl's Den. We're grabbing a health fragment here, which will come in useful for another trick later on. But you'll also notice I am killing enemies and collecting their drops. And I'm also going out of my way to collect some other drops in the world, like this one up here. So this orange light that we have is called Spirit Light. Spirit Light is this game's currency. And we are going to need to be making 3 shopping trips for 4 items throughout the run. And one of those is coming up relatively quickly, so I would like to have 350 Spirit Light by the time I get there, which will be doable if I am still on the route killing enough slimes, which, is definitely doable. So, so much to talk about in the early portions of this game because it just flies by. The next skill that we just got from that tree is called Regenerate. Regenerate is an ability that you have to use completely still. You cannot be moving while you use Regenerate. We'll come back to this later. But you think that in a speedrun, we're probably not going to be taking all that much unintentional damage, and you don't want to use Regenerate because it stops your movement entirely, so that seems pretty slow. Hi, give me that. Thank you. But Regenerate is actually one of the fastest abilities in the game when paired with another ability, which we don't have yet. So for right now, Regenerate is just sitting in our back pockets, waiting for later. As will be Resilience. I'm so bad at that. Sword cancel. But Resilience lets you take less damage. Hi, can I grab the EXP, please? Thank you. So yeah, Resilience lets us take less damage, and again, we won't be using it for much aside from one trick later on in the run. But for now, I'm going to skip another cutscene in this area by jumping up here, doing a sword hover, getting just a little bit more height, and then missing the double jump. Whoops. There is a cutscene trigger in this area, but there is just a little bit of janky enough geometry here that I'll miss it again. Come on. This is a little bit embarrassing. Yep, the geometry on that tree branch in particular, that little hanging one up here, is really weird. And as you'll hopefully see when I, grab the other side of it, and it very much looks like I'm not grabbing the tree branch. But there we go. After a couple attempts, that is the cutscene skip. I probably lost time on there, but it's cool to show anyways. So we have 350 Spirit Light. We just need a little bit more, and actually this is 100 Spirit Lights. This gives me more than I need, so I'm going to route this 50 extra into my next shopping budget, because our first shopping trip is coming right up, and we are going to be buying Sentry. If you play this game casually, you might be thinking, why are they buying Sentry? It's not the greatest of abilities. It very much requires you to like keep the enemies in one place, which, yeah, good for boss fights, but we're not going to be using it like that. Instead, we're going to be equipping it and Sword and pressing them on the same frame, like that. That is a Sentry jump. Hi, kid, get out of my way, please. Thank you. Yeah, Sentry jumps, like I said, done by pressing Sword and Sentry on the same frame, which can be done relatively easily by using the game's in-game keybinding system, and it just launches you upwards. It is incredibly useful. It does take energy, so as you can see right now, I am now completely out of energy after using just 3 Sentry jumps, which is a problem. Luckily, QTMing like this restores your energy and health to a minimum. So at this point in the game, I have 1 energy and 3 health minimum every time I QTM. So by doing a QTM there, I have enough energy to do 1 more Sentry jump to get back up here. Generally, Sentry jumps are going to be used everywhere. Like, we need height, Sentry jump. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But I mentioned earlier that Sword is not our primary combat ability, and the ability that we just got instead will be, and that ability is Bow. So Bow, as you'll see here, starts out as a, it's a long-range ability with 1 projectile. It's a bow, it shoots an arrow. Nothing too special about it. Like, okay, whoop, little backup strat there. But with a couple of upgrades that are really easy to get, like they're on the critical path, Bow becomes an absolute weapon of mass destruction. It's so incredibly fun. Especially if, like me, you played this game and hated the bosses, and you wish there were just more escapes like Vine Forest. This run kinda trivializes some of the bosses by just blowing them up before they have a chance to think. It's very fun. But before we can get to that, we have to finish off the rest of early game first. And that means we're coming up to one of the other hard tricks in the run, probably the second hardest trick, honestly, which is Poison Swim. There are 4 components to it. Nope. There we go. 2 of which are on the way down, 2 of which are on the way up. So for the first segment, we'll be taking intentional damage, getting over to this area and not taking any more damage. Whoops. I just need to get up on that wall, but walls in the Ori series are a little bit slippery sometimes. So there we go, we're up. We're going to regen and jump on the same frame, which allows us to jump, hit the spikes to get some extra invincibility frames, make it down to a checkpoint halfway through the water. Part 2, we're going to swim down through the water, die. Non-intentional. We're going to swim down through the water, just barely make it out in time to escape down to this section of Quolox Hollow, which, don't kill me please, thank you. Which is where we are going to need to go next. So, dodge around some platforms, and hit the platforms on accident. Whoops. But yeah, that was a pretty good poison swim, all things considered. It's very tricky to learn, because you cannot see anything. Not objects, but you start game. Thank you. With that, in a couple of Sentry jumps, we're just going to skip through most of the puzzles in this entire area. And by most, I mean all. We're skipping through all of the puzzles in this entire area. Again, another QTM, because QTM save time. And we will be grabbing Dash, one of the skills that is, as the name would imply, fast. And Dash. Whew, boy. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So, of course, Dash lets you go fast. This game, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, also includes Air Dash automatically. You don't have to upgrade that individually like you did in Blind Forest. As well as Dash has some interesting properties where if you use it off of a wall, or miss the wall, if you use it off of a wall, you actually get it refunded in midair. Hi, can I get this trick, please? Yeah, there we go. Okay. And if you use it off the ground, you get it refunded when you use it again in the air. So we'll be using a lot of dashing to move our way through the world pretty quickly. There is one technique that makes dash even faster, but we'll get to that in a sec. Because we have to do the other two parts of the poison swim while we're coming back up. First, though, there's a little bit of an upgrade that we will need to grab here. So I will be jumping up, shooting the thing, and dashing across these deadly crushers so we can get quick shot. Quick shot makes our bow shoot really, really fast. So you can tell, just by that description, how that might make bow really useful for combat. But that's still not all. We'll get another upgrade for bow later. But for now, poison swim. This is the hardest part. You have to go up, blindly maneuver through to find the checkpoint. Then we're going to go in and take an intentional death here on spikes, which I missed. So I'm going to take an intentional death on spikes this time for real. Miss it again. Intentional death on spikes this time for real. That will give us extra iframes. We can barely swim up to the surface and get out. That is the poison swim. Done and dusted. Awesome. Pulling another lever. Again, QTMing like this resets our health and energy to acceptable levels. Because the next trick that I'm going to show off is wave dashing. So I mentioned how regen becomes one of the fastest skills in the entire game earlier. And wave dashing is how. So if you dash into a corner and then turn around and press regen immediately afterwards, for some reason, the game does this. That is a wave dash. And wave dashes, if you could not tell, are a little bit fast. Just a tiny amount. So, with wave dashes, we can do incredible horizontal movement, which allows us to skip things, like bosses. So, upcoming is a Hornbug arena. The boss is named Hornbug. You'll see him later. But for now, since we don't have all of our combat upgrades yet, I'm going to wave dash right on over the giant trigger, and we'll be moving on without fighting Hornbug. So yeah. Oh, hi, don't take random damage, please. Thank you. Wave dash, very, very good, but also very, very good. If you've ever played an Ori game, you know this skill. It's the signature of the Ori series. Bash lets you take a projectile or enemy, or like the lantern that's hanging around right there, and utilize it to move Ori in one direction, and the enemy or projectile in the other direction, like this. So by doing that, we can, redirect projectiles to break things. We can move Ori really quickly. Bash is just such a cool ability concept-wise, and the speedrun utilizes it really, really well. Although not as much as Blind Forest, surprisingly. Hi. I did not mean to kill him, but whatever. I just meant to get a little boost off him, because Bash is fast. But we're going to take a slight detour here, because we need one more thing. Of course, a little more shopping money for next trip. We need a wave dash. We need a wave dash. There we go. And this is Splinter. Splinter is another bow ability, and it turns the bow from, a normal one-shot bow to a shotgun that fires multiple shots at once and absolutely obliterates things, especially when you remember that we picked up Quick Shot. So that means we have a rapid-fire shotgun at our disposal when we equip those two shards. Oops. We missed the height a little bit there, but we're back. Okay. So we're grabbing extra energy as well. Energy in particular is a resource that we really need throughout the run. Hello? Okay. Hello? Ori? Okay. Hold on. I need to not bonk my head. There we go. Okay. That was annoying. Sorry, I had to come up with a backup strat on the fly there. But after a bunch of that, picking up abilities and skills and shards to help us later, we're now actually going to go and continue the main quest, because we have our core moveset right now with sentry jumps, wave dashes, and bash. So we're going to say hi to a frog and bye to a frog, because his cutscenes are long and slow. We don't like long and slow cutscenes. We want to go fast. Goodbye, frog. So instead, we are now going to accept his main quest and go to the wellspring, because in order to save our friend Ku, we need to swim through a section of water, and right now, the water in Nyland is poison. something has been gunking up the mill, which usually keeps the water fresh. And so we're going to go investigate, figure out what's causing the water to be toxic, and then fix it so we can go swim through and find our friend Ku. Well, I say friend, but I don't like Ku, which we will discuss later. But for now, bow gives you momentum, which is weird, but that trick only happens once. No need to explain it. We are on to continue the rest of the run. There's a little bit of a cutscene that I can skip here if I dash and jump one frame after the other continuously through that area, which I did. Good. This area is the Wellspring Glades, I believe is what it's called. It's like the hub area of the game, and we only care about one character. Hi, Twylin. Twylin is our second shop, where we will be buying 2 things to make combat really, really good. So again, Splinter. We just upgraded it, so now instead of shooting 3 shots, it shoots, I believe, 4. So yeah, upgrades our damage by 120 or 133%, I believe that is. I don't know. I don't know how to do math while I'm trying to speedrun. Math hard, speedrun good. Oops, I missed the experience. There we go. Yeah, so there is one more shop, so we still need to be collecting Spirit Light. But the other thing that we bought is Overcharge. Overcharge is an ability that doubles the amount of energy you have, basically, and also causes you to take double damage. So it is a risk-reward element, but I'm going to skip a cutscene here. It's a risk-reward element, but as a speedrunner, I'm just going to not fall in the water. Oh my god, okay. Woo, this is fine. There's a health plant that I can grab right here. Touch. Thank you. Alright, we're good. But as a speedrunner, I'm going to basically be using all down, Ori, thank you. All of the reward for none of the risk. We just need to get a good wave dash off of this wall. And not get the up slash at the last hit. Oh well, I'm losing a little bit of time there, but it's fine. This is basically the shard kit that we'll have for the rest of the game. Overcharge with Splinter and I missed the slide. Hello. Bash. Thank you, Bash. Okay, I don't know where the cycle is. Okay, it's right here. Cool. You brought up? So yeah, this is basically the one that we'll have for a while. With regenerate, not regenerate, overcharge, splinter, and quick shot for our bow movement, and then we have reckless as well, which means we use more energy. We'll unequip overcharge to equip reckless. We'll use more energy, but we'll take less damage. Because reckless is plus 15% damage and plus 15% damage taken, given and taken. So it's used to help speed up fights by dealing extra damage, but it just means we waste more energy because we don't have overcharge equipped. I'm going to take an intentional death here, and then we will be damage boosting on up. I mentioned earlier that using your an attack cancels out knockback animations, so we'll be using that to climb up that spike wall and get over here. Quick to menu again because it gives me more health. As well as, you know, skipping the cutscene of pulling that lever and seeing the wheel rotate. I don't care about that, so we're just gonna head on in and make our way up to the next skill tree, a required tree for this run, which is Grapple. Grapple's a decent enough ability, I suppose. It's not my favorite of the new abilities that they added in this game. I would almost certainly be Bow, but that's because that melts bosses, and I don't like the bosses. So, Grapple is our new ability. We'll be using it occasionally. You can use Grapple on those dark blue colored objects in the environment in order to gain some extra either momentum like this, or to just stick to the object like that. So by utilizing Grapple, we can propel ourselves through the world in very quick and very various, I suppose, ways. But we will just be continuing our way through Wellspring, and actually we're almost on our way to the first actual combat arena that we're going to be doing in this run. So there are several different combat arenas and areas that you are supposed to do, but combat is slow, especially before we get our upgrades. So what we are going to do instead is avoid a lot of them until we get Overcharge, Splinter, and Quick Shot, which you'll see how trivial this makes combat, especially since I know where all the enemies are going to spawn. So I can get right under, shotgun the spider, shotgun the lizard, come on, spawn on, shotgun the Gorlek, and then we get shotgun a spider, shotgun another spider, and spawn, shotgun another lizard. There we go. That is combat with Quick Shot, Splinter, and overcharge. Fun and fast. Just like RNGesus and, I don't know, GDQ, speedrun gods intended. Oh, I did not destroy it. Whoops. What I'm doing there is I'm destroying the pustule and then dashing into a save trigger so that the state of the pustule being destroyed is saved, and then I can QTM to skip the resulting cutscene. Again, QTM's super duper duper useful in this run, but with that being said, we got a little bit of time for donations, and I just finish up the rest of Wellspring and don't die. Okay, we're fine. Yeah, donations. There's I think ample time for donations, especially later on in the run. But the start of the run, there's just a lot to talk about because we keep getting new abilities like every couple of minutes. So there's always something new to talk about, always something new to do, and also the big tricks of the early game. Door skip, poison swim, and over cutscene skip. Like, they all just come back to back to back. So the end of Wellspring is probably the first big point of respite for donations and for my voice to recover. But that will be ending shortly. Because we are finally at the top of the Wellspring where, well, before we do the actual objective, we do have one more shopping quest to partake in, or shopping session to partake in. Because over here has fast travel, which, you know, it has the word fast in the name. Of course we're going to get it. But now I'm going to go over here, sentry jump, see if I can pause on the exact same frame. No, I missed it. Okay. That's fine. QTM also skips it. It's just a little bit slower. By skipping that cutscene, or by pausing the same frame the cutscene starts, you skip the cutscene entirely for some reason, but we can do it this way as well, which skips the cutscene that would start our first true escape sequence of the game. Of course, escape sequences are an Ori series staple. You have to run from a giant monster, and or wall of nature. So here's our giant monster. Hi, tentacle friend. And of course, we also have a bunch of water that we're running from. Didn't intend to take that damage, but I think it'll probably be fine. Dash. So yeah, I am just going to complete this linear escape as fast as I possibly can. And then we will be on to the rest of the mid-game. These escapes can be a little bit dangerous. There are no checkpoints in the middle of them. The checkpoint system in this game is fairly generous. Unless you're in something like an escape or a boss fight. Hopefully you won't have to see too much of me resetting to checkpoints when I die, but if it happens, it is definitely not the end of the world. This game is really, really safe in terms of, like, it's not going to go under, you know? But with the escape completed, we will clean the water and finally move out from what I consider the early game, the first about 30 minutes of the game, and into the mid-game, the next 30 minutes. Of course, we get a community favorite cutscene. Even though this one is unskippable, it's still kind of fun because this background Moki, well, no, it just said bright and clean. It says a specific line here in just a sec that, so soggy, oh. Everyone in the community loves that line. The soggy Moki is a treasure and a treat. But, as you might notice, if you played this game, or, you know, we're paying a close enough attention to that cutscene, the game wants us to go to Pola in order to complete the main quest. We're not actually doing that. We're going to go to Luma Pools first. And now you might think, okay, hey, Turtle, this category is main quest order. Why are you going to Luma Pools before actually doing the main quest? You have to do it in order, right? Yes, you are right. But it turns out the only thing in Luma Pools that counts for the main quest is the boss at the very, very end. So long as we beat the boss in main quest order, the rest of Luma Pools is up for grabs. So, you're normally supposed to have glide to get in here, but by doing a cool wave dash, a cool wave dash, there we go. That's one of my favorite wave dashes in the game, and it kind of sucks that I messed it up so much. But by doing a cool wave dash, we get into Luma Pools early, and we can grab the ability here early, which will help save some time in other areas of the game. Don't hit me, bubble. Okay, or hit me upwards. That's fine as well. If that bubble hits you downwards, you cry. But yeah, Luma Pools. We don't need to beat, or we can't beat the boss if we want to, you know, do the main quest in order. But we're going to grab Water Dash because it helps us move through some water in the remaining areas of the game much faster than we otherwise would be able to. Now, chat. Important thing here. I need you to listen for a bell sound. Did you hear that bell sound? I heard that bell sound. Hi, Marie's art. I can't read. I'm practicing commentary for a Games Done Quick submission. Right, that bell sound normally doesn't happen when you die. That bell sound happens when you complete a puzzle. But for some reason, if you die on those specific spikes after hitting a specific checkpoint, the game completes the puzzle for you. And that means we get into this room, which has an open door. That's a 50-50 thing, and I immediately die like this. Like I said, good checkpoint system in this game. if the door isn't open, you just reset. It's about like, what, a 4 or 5 second time loss to reset and get back in. So no big deal. And every reset has another about 50-50 to open up that door. I'm doing well, thank you. But here's Kolok. Kolok is a big frog, as I mentioned before. He also likes to talk a lot, as I mentioned before. So we're not going to talk to him. Bye. And instead, we are going to get over here, grab a crystal, and if you remember from 30 minutes ago, when we did door skip, we got an extra keystone out of it. And we're going to use that keystone right now. So I've only collected 3 of the 4 keystones that are supposed to open this door, and I can open this door. Stream's going well, thank you. I just started, but this run's going well, as you can tell. There's already a gold split, too. And that's with me doing commentary, so we now have got Water Dash. That is the reason that we came into the Luma Pools area to begin with. So we're not going to exit just yet. Why did that eat my dash? Thank you. So instead of leaving right away, we're going to grab another keystone. This is the keystone that we were supposed to get to open the door, but by having Water Dash, we just get that keystone so much faster. Like, you can see how much faster Water Dash makes movement. But then, super close by to where we get Water Dash, there is a convenient teleporter. There it is, a convenient teleporter. And so we'll be using that teleporter to come back to this area later. Hold that thought, Marie's art. I'm trying to practice the commentary. So, about the category. So we're going to do things in main quest, or in all the things in the main quest and in order. But another thing that we do in this category is all challenges. So that means all escapes and all bosses. Usually, those all come, as part of the main quest. But, the mosquito didn't die, unfortunately. But this particular bug, or boss, horn bug, isn't actually part of any main quest. The mosquito was annoying there. I had to try and dodge the mosquito and Hornbug at once, and it didn't work out. But yeah, Hornbug is not part of any main quest, but he is part of all challenges. I failed to read that correctly. But yeah, we have to come back and beat Hornbug so we can fulfill the all challenges part of the speedrun. So there we go. Again, with all the bow upgrades that we've collected, Hornbug just melts. And both Splinter and Quickshot actually come after Hornbug, so you're definitely not supposed to have this kind of firepower in that fight. And it just makes it so much fun to just wallop on this big spiky enemy who is annoying, and I don't like all the bosses. But with that done, we are getting into Silent Woods, one of the most technical areas of the run. There's just a lot of cool skips like this, where I'm going to dash, sword slash a certain number of times, double jump, and miss it. Dang it! There is a cutscene here where a bunch of Mokis talk to you and they say, "Hey, you cleaned the water. Good job." And thank you. It was a good job. I did a very good job on that split, and in fact, it was gold. But by doing a specific set of movement there, we can cancel our sword chain into a double jump, and then start the sword chain over again to keep hovering in the air long enough to get into a save trigger, which lets us skip the cutscene. Awesome. Yeah, there's just so much to talk about in Silent Woods, Marie. I'm sorry, I have to keep practicing for it. So, Silent Woods, yeah, that is the first of many tricks. Don't bother. That's the first of many tricks in this area, and we're immediately going to come up to another one. So the cutscene trigger for the introduction to our big bad villain here, who you can see in the background, is a little too short. Of course, the game developers wouldn't expect you to get high enough in order to skip it. But there's just a tiny crack that you can squeeze through right there with a sentry jump and skip the cutscene that... Hi, grapple, can you work, please? Skip the cutscene that introduces you to Shriek. So, yeah, skip it, and we will need to be wave dashing. We will be wave dashing. There we go. On into the rest of Silent Woods. There is a section here of some bubbles, which, oh, this one just popped. Please, bubble cycle, thank you. So we need to go grab this keystone. And now we're going to use that extra keystone we got in Luma Pools to open this door. And while the door has its opening animation playing out, we're going to grab another keystone for later use. We really chain our keystone uses pretty well throughout this. I'm going to sentry jump into the ceiling, dash, double jump to refresh my dash against the ceiling, and then do it again. And then we're going to roll into one of the longer cutscenes. This cutscene is skippable, but the trick that I learned and practiced in order to do it is 3 frame-perfect inputs in a row, which is... yikes! So I don't go for that normal attempts, because it is hard and scary, and I'm not good at it. But this is Ku. Ku is the character that we are here to rescue in the story. So yeah, Ori and Ku have a big hug, but we can't stay here for long, because Shriek, big bad villain, is coming. So after the cutscene, we'll resume normal gameplay. I don't like Ku, and let me explain why. When you're on Ku for this section of the game, which is mandatory for all main quest order, you have to ride Ku, and that means you lose access to all of your abilities except for bow. So that means we lose sentry and sword, we can't sentry jump, we lose regen and dash, we can't wave dash. Like, all of the cool movement abilities are just gone because of Ku. And so I don't like Ku for that reason mainly. But we'll be riding Ku pretty calmly and consistently throughout this area. So, in a real run, this would be a good time for donations. And in this practice commentary, this is a good time for me to talk to you, Marie. Sorry about that. So yeah, type of game I like playing. I primarily play the Ori series, so this game and Blind Forest, as speedruns, as well as a game called Pit People, which is not at all anything like Ori in any way, but I also love the game, so I play it. Yeah, I speedrun all 3 games, so speedrunning is my main purpose of this channel. Thanks for the playing like a pro. I'm definitely not the best at this game, but I do my best to maintain a decent pace throughout. In fact, yeah, this run is really good so far. Okay. You can totally ask me something. Even if I don't respond right away because I'm doing commentary, I'll respond eventually during one of the... what in a normal marathon run would be a good place for a donation incentive, or donation break. That being said, this is probably where I would pick back up commentary and say, so Shriek, the big bad owl that we've seen in the background. Let's talk about her lore a little bit. So she is an owl, a lot like Ku, but unlike Ku, she's an adult. Also, unlike Ku, she was born with like some like rot attached to her, some decay, which is what's turning everything to stone. So Shriek is partially turned to stone, like Howl here, but also immune to it. So everyone else around her kind of bullied her because, you know, she's covered in decay. It's like, you know, that's not normal. And so, yeah, the other adult owls kind of bullied her, and she was alone. And now all the other owls are turned to stone, and she's the only one who's left. So she just wants to be left alone, which, understandable. I am also an introvert. And that is hence why this area is called the Silent Woods, because being left alone also involves quiet time. Shriek really does not like it when the crowd chants Orb or Chef or whatever the meme for the next AGDQ will be. So Ori and Ku, in coming through this area, are making a lot of noise. Shriek doesn't like that. Shriek would rather have the Silent Woods stay silent. Ori and Ku just want feather items that they can get home. But that's going to cause a little bit of conflict between the two. As I miss a trick. Cool beans. You can skip this jump scare if you're really, really quick, but the jump scare lets me show that, hey, down here where there's a lot of closed space, no open air, Shriek the giant owl can't really come, and Ori and Ku are safe. but because I don't like Ku and would like to speedrun this game, please, I'm going to tell Ku via the controls to immediately run out into the open air, where Shriek is 100% going to be waiting for us. Sad times ahead. If you don't like being sad, look away for about a minute and a half. If you do like being sad or hate Ku like me, Ku dies. Ku dies, Ku dies, Ku dies, Ku dies, and we don't have to ride Ku anymore, which means we can go fast. It's great. I love it. There's still a bit of a slow-moving section here where Ori is being sad because, unlike me, Ori has a big friendship developed with Ku. They're brothers and sister. I don't know what gender either of them. I think Ori's actually a they canonically, but anyway, Ori is very sad. They just lost Ku, and that leads us into the main quest for the second half of the game. So the first half was to find Ku. Now, for the second half of the game, we are going to need to revive Ku to make Ku not take a big infinite forever nap anymore. So I'm going to skip 2 cutscenes here. There we go. Sad time is over in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, we need to wake Ku up from her big nap, shall we say. Oops. Oh, I got Ku always also unsets your abilities, and I have a bad tendency to forget to reset them. Oops. Did not mean to take that damage, but it's fine. So, the way to revive Ku, we need to find 4 Wisps. Of course, Ori and the Will of the Wisps is the name of the game. So we need to find 4 Wisps so that we can go save the Spirit Willow, and therefore use its magic power to remove the decay and revive Ku. But, so for the main quest, one of those Wisps has to be done last, but the other 3 are up for grabs. And so we're going to start by going into Moldwood Depths, because it is the closest one to where we spawn after the Ku cutscene. If you don't like spiders or spooky, scary darkness, look away. Here's a warning for that. Hi, go away, please. Hi, go away, please. Because this area's gimmick is spooky, scary darkness. Normally, you are supposed to use a bunch of glowflies or fireflies in order to light up this area enough to go through, because if you're in the darkness for too long, Ori just gets insta-killed. It does not matter how much health they have left, Ori will just get insta-killed. Hopefully we don't see that happen. Normally you're supposed to follow a bunch of slow-moving fireflies around in order to prevent that, and eventually you'll get an item called Flash, which does let you prevent that. But, as it turns out, Bow has the same property as Flash. And so, by using Bow at certain intervals, we can just ignore the darkness almost entirely. So, yep, let me put Bow again. And by doing that, we can skip Flash entirely, skip all of the glowflies entirely, and just absolutely sprint straight through this area. And on to... Let me touch the bulb, please. Thank you. And on to the first major boss of the mid-game. Again, big spider warning, because, it's a big spider. That's what the boss is. Also, I would like to direct the viewer's attention to where my mouse is right here. 2 spiders are going to pop out. Watch the second one. This only happens in old patches. On current patch, it doesn't happen. That spider walks on nothing. The string that it's supposed to walk on just doesn't render for some reason. I love pointing that fact out, because there's nothing else to really talk about during this little mini cutscene where we are introduced to the first major boss of the run, Mora. Hornbug and Howl, they don't count. They're really easy. Mora is a challenge. She has 3 phases, and hopefully I will be clearing them each first try. Let's start. So, for phase 1, we want to keep Mora. I took a little extra damage there, that's fine. We want to keep Mora towards this side of the room, the right side. There we go. So, she'll destroy that wall quicker, and we can move on to this section of the fight quicker. Where she will continue to be mean to me. Oh, and she's spawning her minions. Great. I don't like that. Attack. Please. Oh, I missed a bunch of my shots. That's great. Okay, no, there we go. There is phase 1 complete. I'm going to take an intentional death by just high-fiving her little minions in the face. And we are on to phase 2. Phase 2 is a escape sequence. All of the bosses in this game have little mini escape sequences built into their phases. So Howl started with one. Oh, Hornbug doesn't, I guess. The Hornbug doesn't count as a real boss, I think. But, so we're going to escape from... Oh, I actually have full health. I don't need to regen. That's pretty handy. So we're going to refill our energy using that handy pistol, and we are now through phase 2 and on to phase 3. Going to equip Reckless so I can do more damage and finish the phase hopefully faster. Also, this pistol regens a lot. Oop. I'm out of energy. Hit the crystal, please. Hit the crystal. Ori. Goodness gracious. Okay, and now we are on to the last part of phase 3, which is the darkness phase. So Mora summons the darkness, which, like the darkness earlier, will kill me if I don't continually use bow, so I need to make sure I have some extra energy stored up and keep firing bow constantly at Mora in order to take her out to summon her minions, and that's the end of the fight. Gold split! Heck yes! So that is our first wisp taken care of. Our second wisp that we're going to be doing is Bower. So Mora is a giant spider, Bower is a giant bear. By the way, spider warning ends in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can look again if you don't like spiders. We will not be seeing any more throughout the rest of the run, except for the little jumpy guys who I think are technically mantises, not spiders, but I call them spiders anyway, or squampies. Ow, really? Okay, so grapple and bash are linked to the same button, which means I was trying to bash the enemy there, but grapple decided to take priority instead, so I'm going to have to do a different version of a trick coming up, but that's fine, I know how to do both. Anyways, Bower is a giant bear. Like Mora was a giant spider, and Korlak is a giant frog, and Shriek is a giant owl. Lots of giant animals in this game. Of all the giant animals in this game, Bower is the only one who doesn't try and kill you, which is why he's the best. Give him head pats during this phase. Oh, good boy. Who's your good sneezy sleepy boy? Yeah, it's you, Bower. He's a good boy. He's giving you wave dash. You can also use him as a platform to jump off of. So this is Bower's Reach, ice-themed area, very cold. You're supposed to do a bunch of puzzles to bring heat back to a bunch of lanterns, and those lanterns will like sort of unfreeze a small area so that you can use platforms there more effectively. We don't care. We have sentry jumps. That lets us skip puzzles all over the place. And you are also supposed to, oops, you're not supposed to miss that, but there's a good way to get back to it. There we go. So you're also supposed to grab an ability called Grenade in this area, or Light Burst, I believe is what it's like officially called. We're not going to do that, because instead, we have Sentry. For whatever reason, Sentry acts like Light Burst when it explodes. So that turns on that lantern and defeats the puzzle, which allows me to ascend. And again, we're not going to be using Grenade, so we can just Sentry jump right on up. Sentry is just super convenient, both for the, Sentry jump shenanigans, but also, yeah, it just lets us skip Grenade, like by placing a Sentry right there. We can trigger the explosion, just like that. Get a wave dash right on over, and continue on. So yeah, we're just going to be skipping most of Bower's Reach and heading straight to the end without needing Grenade whatsoever. Great. Okay, that was a little low, but I think I still got it. And so since this area doesn't have a boss, I did kind of spoil that by saying Bower is the only giant animal who doesn't try and kill us. Since this area doesn't have a boss, it gives us instead an enemy gauntlet that I should probably trigger the save point for with bow. This is actually, in my opinion, the hardest enemy gauntlet in the game, because I'm bad at it. So we're going to go into Gorlek, shotgun right into his bum, do some sword slashes so I can save a little bit of energy, and there are 3 phases to this boss arena, just like there are. No. Okay. Mini hornbugs suck. Okay, we got it. Oh, what? We didn't get him. Oh god, that was super scary. What the heck? Oh my god. Okay. Breathe. Okay, this is fine. Little bit of extra health. Thank you. Okay, I am. That is why this arena is the worst. Little mini hornbug enemies just are big stinky farts. Luckily, again, checkpoint system in this game very good. So the cycles are a little bit off to what I'm used to, but otherwise, yeah, I'm not dead. Or I don't have to redo the fight. That's what really matters there. Oh boy. And with that completed, thank God I survived that, we can get on to Bower's Escape. Hello, can I send you something? Thank you. Oh man. Now I should take a breather after that. That was crazy. I cannot believe the hornbug survived with or the baby hornbug survived with 0 health. So, aerial sentry jumps. Okay. normal sentry jumps when you're on the ground are the same frame. If you press sword and sentry on the same frame, you get a grounded sentry jump. With the in-game key binding system, it's actually pretty easy and very consistent, which is why I use them all throughout the run. Aerial sentry jumps, on the other hand, you have to do exactly one frame apart. So instead of having a keybind for them, you'd need a macro. Macros aren't allowed. So you have to manually press sentry and slash one frame apart from each other. Which is hard. So I only go for one right here to try and skip this cutscene. I usually don't get it. Like, the frame perfect tricks in this game are bonkers. Like, you can launch yourself in any direction at any time you want, aside from down, I suppose, with, like, well-positioned frame perfect inputs. But yeah, I am a human being, not a task. So I will instead be using, human strats in order to complete this escape. Which, yeah, again, Bauer doesn't try and kill you, so Shriek is here to try and kill you instead. It's a giant monster plus force of nature. Shriek is a giant monster. The avalanche is the force of nature that we must escape from in order to survive. And this escape in particular can go by very quickly, with some well-timed dashes under those spikes, water dash to make it faster, don't get crushed by the tree, and then we bash right off the spider, and it is over all one. Wow, this run is going great! And audio cue, audio cue. Audio cue. There we go, there's the skip cutscene button. So, with our second wisp done, we now return to Luma Pools, which, if you remember from like 20 to 30 minutes ago, we left unfinished by grabbing this teleporter, because the main quest here is the boss, and now is the time that we're actually on that main quest in the proper order. So, it is time to fight Kolak, who again is the master of long cutscenes. We're going to skip one by doing that sentry jump right there, but then we have to just, look at his big dumb ugly face and talk to him, and look at him burping or whatever he's doing for like a good 30 seconds. There's an even longer cutscene after the fight, which is a great time for donations, but for the meantime, let's talk about the Kolak fight. Because Kolak fight can go by in a flash if I do it well, and if I don't, well, I guess more time for donations. So, Kolak fight starts with this escape sequence. That is part one of the fight. And so we're going to run from him and the giant spaghetti monster, who you might remember from Wellspring earlier, who is mind controlling him right now. So we have to do another sentry jump right quick, so we can skip the same cutscene trigger that we avoided earlier. And Kolak in this patch, rubber bands do. The faster that I go, the faster. Oh, thank you for the free damage. The faster that this fight, or the faster that this escape sequence will be completed. Whereas in patch 1.3, the most recent patch, can I make it through? Yes. So in the most recent patch, wait, dash. Okay, didn't get it. I'm going to heal back up, and then the fight will start in 3, 2, 1, Espadia. So, Kolak phase 2 is, a fight phase where you have to fight him. Where are you going to slam? You're going to slam over here. I don't want him to slam in the middle in particular. I would much rather him slam on one of the sides. So, we have now started phase 2 of the fight, which is me just jumping out of the water, not into him, jumping out of the water, hitting him with some bows, jumping out of the water, hitting him with some bows, jumping out of the water, hitting him with some bows. There's a lot to this fight actually. If you're ever in the water for an extended period of time, you'll like it to hold off. I did not equip Reckless like I'm supposed to at the transition from that attack. Okay, if you're in the water for too long when he starts that attack, bad things happen. So yeah, we don't want that at all. We do not want that. So I'm super glad that I avoided that. You just can't damage him during that phase, as opposed to every other phase where if you're out of the water, you can damage him. Good Kolak fight. Not the best, especially considering I forgot to equip Reckless, but I remembered in the end. Oops. So we are now going to end the cutscene. Once again, sad times. If you don't like sad times, look away for like 2 minutes. That is how long this cutscene is, and it is a great time for donations or questions, Marie's Art, if you are still listening. Sorry about that. Also, it's a good time for me to grab a water break, because I've been talking nonstop for the past hour. Agua fresca. The last 3 splits have all been minus 124. Exactly 0 seconds gained or lost. Kinda like that, not gonna lie. Long cutscene's over. We can finally go and get our 5th and final Wisp. I know there were like 4 sort of areas and bosses that you have to do, but you actually get one way early in the story. I just skipped the cutscene for it because the cutscene is slow because it involves Korlok, whose cutscenes are slow, as you can see by that last cutscene. So we are now going over to the Windswept Wastes. This is called sword dashing, or sword canceling. If you hit the ground with your sword, it cancels the end lag of your dash animation, and you can just dash again. There's another trick coming up right here, feeding ground skip. So usually there is supposed to be a sort of stealth section where the bird Shriek will like look at you, and then you hide behind a little wall like this, and then she'll look away, and then you run to the next thing, and it's slow. So by doing a pogo off of a skeleton, we can actually just skip the trigger for that and go straight on into Windswept Wastes, or as I like to call it, the area with the Settlers of Catan box art on its background. That's all I can ever associate with this, even if it's not like the actual box art. I haven't actually seen the box art in like years since college, but like that's what the box art looks in my imagination, and so that is what this area is. It is the Settlers of Catan box art area. Let's see if the physics object is wiggly. No, okay. But we are in Windswept Wastes, a very spiky and thorny area, and let me do the damage boost here. Right on over, heck yeah. And from here, we will be grabbing up Ori. Okay, I'm actually out of energy to do the wave dash, which is sad because I love this wave dash, but we will be grabbing Burrow, which is my least favorite ability in the game. Let's talk about why, I suppose. So, for one, I play on keyboard and mouse, which means that instead of having like the full 360 range of motion to control with, I only have 8. I have 8 directions that I can control, and that makes some sections a lot harder with KDM in particular. The other thing is that burrow and dash. Okay, 3 things. The second thing is that burrow and dash share the same keybind. You cannot change this by the in-game keybinding menu. So sometimes you'll want to dash and you'll just end up burrowing. Other times you'll want to burrow and you'll just end up dashing. It's the same problem that bash and grapple have, but considering that we don't grapple all that much and we do burrow a ton and dash a ton, especially in this area, which, you know, obviously is full of burrow points, it makes burrow a little unwieldy. So the third thing is that burrow likes to bonk. If you hit a wall, you are turned around, I believe, 90 degrees to the wall. And so if you just accidentally like barely scrape a wall, all of a sudden your movement is super jank and you don't know where you're going anymore. And I missed hitting spacebar. We're gonna move a little bit of a back up. Okay. Okay, hello, you jerk. I just need to burrow. See, like, there we go. That's what I'm talking about with burrow and dash, where I was trying to burrow there. And instead, the game was just like, oh, you hit spacebar. You want to dash. I see how it is. No, game, you do not see how it is. I was trying to burrow there. But whatever, we're through. We're going to do a little skip here. I just damaged it through that laser. And now we are onto the end of the Windswept Waste into an area that we like to call Storytime Temple. So, Storytime Temple, there are 5 like little murals on the wall. I'm going to skip the first one, but afterwards, feel free to just shoot out donations in an actual run for like 5 minutes, honestly. This area, Storytime Temple, we're going to get all the lore, but the first the first of the murals at least is skippable, thank goodness. So you go over here, and for the first mural, if you're just barely on the edge here, you can sentry jump up, double jump, and get on over. Awesome. Yeah, but from here on out, nothing much to talk about in terms of the run, so good time for donations in a real run. For this practice talk, the run is timed, and a lot of my strats are done for the in-game timer. Load list removed in-game time. And so that means it's not... Oops, I forgot to switch to this. It is not completely RTA optimized. However, there are strats and runners who do know RTA optimized strats. Mostly this just involves not doing as many QTMs in certain areas. Don't soft lock. I shouldn't have double jumped. That is entirely my bad. I got a little panicky. Oh well. So let's not do that again. I'll do the easy, the free ones like that, but now the one that can soft lock. Right. What was I saying? RTA strats. So if this does get accepted, I will 100% go talk to 2Kill and Mzuzek, two of the runners that I know that do RTA strats, and ask them like, hey, what are some good RTA strats for me to potentially implement into the run? And then I will practice those more often instead of going for runs like this, which are very much, you know, me actually trying to get a good time. Like, you know, you can see on my timer right now, I'm a minute ahead of PB. Oh my god. That little reset there will waste a bit of time, but, you know, still. I am intentionally going for a good run right now. And there's still more lore here, like, I don't know, it's just... Storytime temple just keeps going. I suppose I get more water. You know, water good. Quench my thirst, please. It really does. Like, I mentioned this earlier, that the early game has a lot of technical explanations and details and stuff, while late game is just lore dumps, the frog dies and it takes 2 minutes, the Storytime Temple comes and it takes 5 minutes. It's like... I don't know. There's nothing I can do to skip this, so we just gotta look at it. But it's almost over. You can see the Sandworm in the background. He's very angry that we did something. I don't know. But he is going to be our giant enemy that we're running from for this escape sequence. This is one of the worst escape sequences in the game, mainly because it's based on Burrow. And I have already discussed the problems of Burrow. See, there's a bonk. Do not want to bonk. No bonk. Por favor. And yes, a lot of these areas are not super optimized for KBM, like this. This is not good exact 45-degree angle. Okay, we're fine. This is fine. There we go. I tried to dash and ended up burrowing because Burrow has issues. But we are making our way through. We touched a wall just so I gain my dash back. A little neat fact here. The Worm's hitbox is not exact to his size, so what I can do here is touch his tail spikes. Those don't have hitbox on them at all, so you gotta get up. I nearly got on a bad angle there. I did get on a bad angle there, but we recovered. Okay. Paranoia, very, very scary annoying. This is one of the hardest parts with KBM because this hallway is so narrow. If you start bonking, you are in pain. So I'm going to play it a little slow. There we go. Okay, we are out. Sandworm escape can go very badly, and this is one of the areas where it's easy to lose time. But for the chat, Ori's going to do an animation with his hand up in front of them, and is going to lean forward and back. Every time Ori leans forward, you need to count backwards from 17. All right, ready? 17. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, all right. That's a skip, by the way. So what you're supposed to do there is walk forward, or he's like pushing against the wind, like, oh, struggling hard. And there's a big long cutscene where Sire's like, you did it, Ori, you saved me. Now we can go save the Spirit Willow and complete the main quest order. Hooray. But, yup, I bonked. Let's not bonk, please, thank you. There we go. So instead of bonking, or instead of watching that cutscene, if you wait 42.5 seconds, for whatever reason, or in my case, I like to count 17 of that animation, you can teleport out. If you try to teleport out before then, you can't. But if you try and teleport out after 42.5 seconds, you can. So, handy in any time save, about 12 to 13 seconds is just to wait for 42.5 seconds. Believe it or not. So, we're now in the elevator. This is the last, course, like, enemy fight sequence of the game, where we're gonna fight 4 Gorleks. And I know where they spawn, and again, we have shotgun bow. Still takes a while to finish them off, but it is not too bad to just get behind them when they attack. I'm going to use sword on this one to try and save a little bit of energy. After they roar at me is when they become vulnerable, so wait till he roars, get behind him, and pump a shotgun into his core behind. There we go. That is the fight sequence done and dusted. Alrighty. Let me switch to regen so I can maybe get the one of the coolest wave actions in the game. Ah, yeah! I love doing that! That looks so cool, and it feels so cool, too. I am a little low on health, though, so worth. That was all worth, I promise. It looked cool, so it was worth. Unfortunately, those elementals were being very rude with their lasers, but we are now at launch, the final skill that we will be getting in this run. Launch is OP as heck. Launch basically lets you bash off of, this. There we go. Launch basically lets you bash off of yourself at any point, and it also will refresh itself every time you go through a portal, or every time you touch a wall, or every time you touch the ground, or every time you breathe funny. Like, if I should actually grab this health for a trick I want to do. Every time, like you do anything, basically, launch will reset, and I'm gonna do this the fast way. It's cool. I just got off cycle by going for extra health. There we go. Alright, that's it. That is it. So yeah, like I said, you just touch a wall and it refreshes launch. So I dash into that laser, which, while it's deactivated, counts as a wall. And that lets me jump right on up with launch and get into the final dungeon of the game, which is Willow's End. Alright, in Willow's End, even though launch is overpowered, Willow's End was designed with launch in mind, which is why there's deadly Pepto-Bismol everywhere. As you can see, yeah, Pepto-Bismol, very deadly. You don't want to touch the Pepto-Bismol, so I'll be doing my best to avoid it in the future as I make my way through this very pink, spiky area. And hello. There we go. Oof, I'm trying to get a little skip here. So yeah, by dashing onto that rock, we skip a little escape section where you just have to run from the rock for 30 seconds, but hey, you can dash under it and save 30 seconds. Something that also happens here is what I just did. So there are just 8 Willow Hearts that you need to beat in order to unlock access to the final part of the game. And they all have a little cutscene attached to them of the Willow Heart being like properly destroyed and whatnot. But if you manage to dash into a save trigger as the Willow Heart is being destroyed, where did my launch go? Where did my launch go? Why did launch not respawn there? Okay, that's annoying. Whatever. If you manage to if you manage to dash into the trigger as... I'm up. Okay. Sorry, dash into the trigger as the Willow Heart is breaking. It gives you... There's my launch, okay. It lets you skip the cutscenes, basically. It saves the state of the pustule being destroyed. Oops, come on. We need 4 shots and break. There we go. It saves the state of the pustule being destroyed, or the heart being destroyed, and I don't have to watch the cutscene. So, of the 8 Willow Hearts, you can do this skip on 6 of them, and I messed it up. Okay. Hopefully I got far enough to hit the save point there, because I am going to go for it, because I think it's cool to do this trick, so... Oh, really? I missed it again? Oh, no, I didn't actually break it somehow. Usually it just takes 4 shots to break the hearts, and then you can dash into the thing. So of the 6, or of the 8 hearts, you can do this trick to 6 of them. And I am weirdly inconsistent at it, for no reason. Okay, that was only 2 shots. Like, I can't believe I'm failing this multiple times in a row. It's a little bit embarrassing. Really, 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 really. I'm frustrated now. Just let me get the skip, please. I've done this a billion times. Not a billion. I've done this a bajillion times before. 2 hits. Okay, I saw the save point, dashed into it. Please just give me the heart skip. Please, game, please. I am begging of you. There we go. Ugh, okay, that was a little bit annoying, but we did it. So, remember how I said launch refreshes every time you do anything? Yeah. We're going to use that to climb up this area incredibly quickly. And we're going to go play a game now. You might have heard of this game. It's called Quidditch. You have not seen how it's played in Will o' the Wisps, though. It is played like this. Perfect first try Quidditch. Let's go! That is a really difficult and precise trick. You have to bash the projectile, dash in its direction, launch in its direction, bash the projectile, launch down, dash the projectile again, dash in the direction, launch in the direction. So it's like 8 inputs, super precise and back to back. But hey, bash. Why did my bash not? Usually you can bash off this enemy like this. I don't know why it wasn't happening there, but it's okay. We pulled it out. Oh my gosh. I am a little bit panicking, mostly because this run is going well. So there was me trying to bash and ended up grappling instead. Or first I was trying to do both. But there we go. This is our 4th heart. As long as this heart skip actually works. Please, 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 please. I don't know what makes them so inconsistent, but sometimes they just are. I deal with it. Luckily, they're very quick to retry because, you know, the save point is right next to them, which is what allows you to attempt the trick in the first place. Are you kidding me? Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dash. Hit the save point. Quit to main menu. And reopen the game super quickly. This might be one of the strats that's not included in the RTA run. But I would have to ask, you know, 2Kill and MC about that. Burrow! Okay, that was what I mean when I say sometimes you'll dash into a wall instead of burrowing, and it makes me sad. But I recovered that. Some miracle, I recovered that. So that Gorlak was really feisty, huh? Okay, so was the Elemental. Wow, everything really wants to kill me right now. So we're going to regain a little bit of health, switch back to bow, and we are on to another interesting thing. So the lasers in this area, they don't have hitboxes at the bottom of them. You can just walk on through like that. You'll see that again in a little bit, hopefully. But, cycle is a little bad. It's fine. We're in. Okay. This entire area is really nerve-wracking, especially when I'm on a pace this good. Like, not a full minute ahead anymore, but like, you know, still good pace. Oop, did not mean to fall into those. Whoops. So, we're now going to go through the Pepto-Bismol Hallway of Death. Over the rock, please. Thank you, Ori. And we're going to go fight a boss. I'll let you and chat decide if this is actually a boss after I finish it. So, big silent time here. That's the boss. I don't know either. Like, the shotgun bow combo that we use is just so good at destroying that thing's, like, outer rock shell. And then just dealing a bunch of damage to it. So yeah, the boss just kind of boops itself, basically. Oop. Okay, made it through. Yeah, Pepto-Bismol, again, does a lot of damage and can insta-kill you depending on what flavor of Pepto-Bismol it is. Oop, that's a laser. Not Pepto-Bismol. Well, I guess it's a Pepto-Bismol laser. Okay, so I want a little more health for one of the next hearts, but if you have counted so far, I said there were 8 hearts. We're 6 in, and now we are 7 in. There's 1 heart left to go in the run before we can access the final boss of the game, who, if you remember from earlier, is the giant owl who is partially turned to stone, Shriek. Also, if you remember from earlier, although like only 5 minutes back, lasers not having hitboxes near the tops. Okay, I got through a couple of them. Yeah, you can just do that. So this wheel was in a little bit of a bad rotation, but there we go. We are through. And hi, laser, bye. This wheel also has a trick where if you launch up, refresh your launch by gliding, and then launch up again, you can barely squeeze through, and I actually took damage there. Yikes. And then get our last heart skip on the last heart. And all that's left to do from here on out is the final boss fight, which can absolutely lose me this PB if I am bad, which I am. But let's, not this. We need to equip you go. Ooh, okay. Ooh, up, please, thank you. So yeah, little tiny bit of a breather, just backtracking to the final boss area, where we will be seeing if I can actually PB this one or not. Oh my goodness. I can't believe this one went so well while I'm talking. So we're going to launch on in, switch out my loadout for more combat-oriented focus, and skip the cutscene. Here is the final boss, Shriek. Shriek has 4 phases. Phase 1 start now, go! So phase 1 is fairly consistent as long as I don't mess it up horribly. We're going to jump over, shoot her in the face of it, jump over, shoot her in the face of it, jump over, shoot her in the face of it, jump over, shoot her in the face of it, jump over. Okay, this should not be so slow. There we go. I was just a little bit slow, too far away there, because I'm playing a little bit safe. I was too far away from there to get all those hits in, but there we go. Phase 1 complete. Phase 2 is the escape sequence, because all the bosses... Why did that hit me? Head hitbox. What was that? It's okay. I don't really need the help. I meant to dash into that rock to regain my... Okay, she's just hitting me all the time. I don't like that. Not one bit. I'm trying to fast things, but this is not working out really well. It's fine. So, burrow, this one is almost unavoidable unless you... Okay, it's okay. Again, we don't really need the help as long as we can get into phase 3 alive. So by the time phase 3 starts, the game gives us a checkpoint, I can die. This will give me an extra little bit of health and energy, so I can bop the boss. And phase 3 is on in full. We immediately get a bad pattern. So Shriek has 7 different attacks that she can do, 2 of which are really bad. You can't hurt her. This is one of the good ones. That first one is a bad one. And you're actually going to use Sword here to save some energy, as well as to use Sword's ability to hover really well. Which attack is this? Dives. Okay, I like this attack. Bop, 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 bop. Bop, 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 bop. So her attacks are random. Some of them, you just lose time. You can't damage her during them at all. Like this. Yeah, we don't want to see swoops. This also counts as swoops in the community, specifically because it's an attack where you cannot damage Shriek. That is what a swoop is to the community. So, oh, this is a great attack. We should be able to end phase 3 right here. Oh, I'm just a tiny bit short. Okay, what attack are we going for here? What attack are we going for? Dives? Dives. I can do dives. I was really bad with my... Oh, wait, no. She already has low enough health. Okay, so now we're going to start phase 4. Once her health bar shows up, there we go. We're in phase 4. I'm immediately going to dive to regain some health and energy. I'm going to go hit this crystal to regain my energy in full. I'm going to go into the safety spot over here and regain my health. So phase 4 starts with this big 30-second long sort of auto-scroller where you can't attack her. Luckily, again, safety spot. Whoosh. Shriek cannot hit me here. I just need to mentally prepare. Hopefully I can get the 1 cycle. Shriek is not my favorite boss, aka I'm bad at him. Give me a thing to bash off. Give me a thing to bash off. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I did not mean to go that far away from her. Yeah! One cycle! I'm shaking. Oh my god! It's new commentary! I did commentary! And they got 2 TV! What on earth? What on earth? What on earth? What on earth? Okay. Let me finish out the commentary bit for practice. Maybe I should actually just submit this to GDQ straight up. Maybe. I'm thinking I want to do more runs to get a better estimate. I'm thinking it'll probably be RTA 135. That's without RTA strats. So with RTA strats, I can make it even more consistent to be, you know, good RTA and not have all those heart skip time losses, because I would bet that's one of the things that people don't do in RTA strats. But yeah, game, this is the ending of the game. Great time for shoutouts. Shoutouts to the Ori community, they're great. Shoutouts to Amzuzek and Tukil, who I'm going to ask to teach me RTA strats if this happens. Oh, the last time this run was seen at a GDQ, I should mention, was this run in particular, this category in particular, was at AGDQ 2021. So it has been 3 years since this game was last featured. And while I'm not as good as Scar and Hetfield, the 2 runners who did the race of this category back then, I love this game. I've been improving it a lot over the past, like, 2 days, but like 6 months in particular. And the Ori series is just great. So we got Blind Forest last marathon. Let's get Will Lewis into this one if we can. Maybe I should just submit this. I think that was pretty solid commentary, even with me talking to Marie's art halfway through. Also, it's a great run. That too. That also helps. But yeah, I'm going to keep practicing commentary. Maybe I'll get a better commentary and run than this. Who knows? But in the meantime, yeah, shoutouts will go here. I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. I tried to do my best to fill the donation breaks in the run with me talking about all the extra things like RTA strats and how safe this game is when in terms of checkpoints. But yeah, no, this game is amazing. You do have to finish out this crawl. Time does not stop until I say so. But it's a breather, and I need a breather because I can't believe this is a 2-minute PB while I was doing practice commentary. Like, even in a GDQ run, I'll probably have a couch of like Muffin to do that for me, but I can do it. I can play at a high level while commentating, and that feels so good. Ah, I love this game. I love speedrunning. Thank you for watching, and time is in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, messed up the timing a little bit, but... Oh my god, that's a 117! I completely skipped 118! And yeah, this would have shattered that 135 estimate too. But that's a pretty safe estimate for something like a death to Mora, a death to Folok, a death to Sandworm, a death to Shriek. Which I didn't have any of. Wait, what? Hold on, what was this run? What did I lose time to? The only thing I lost time to was the soft lock. The soft lock that I hit in Storytime Temple. Yo, I'm so happy with this run, man. Maybe I should just submit this to GDQ because, you know, that was good. And I commentated throughout the entire thing. Also, Ku is not asleep anymore. Everyone's happy. No one died except Shriek, apparently, but... I love this game, and I'm so happy I did so well on it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at GDQ or at Midwest Speedfest Fall Frenzy or on my own stream. I don't know. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye. Yeah, I'm just cutting it. I don't think I can do better than that for today. Let's just give my voice a rest and do more practice runs tomorrow. GG!